All right, guys, what is going on? What's good? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. It is Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. As you know, I have a special guest on here today for Taco Tuesday. Next time, I'm probably gonna have some tacos ready to go for you guys. But my cheat day is tomorrow, not today. So maybe next time. And before we get into it, before we get too far into it, let's just get our risk disclaimers out the way. Guys, understand that trading with real money, it does involve risk. Don't trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Neither one of us are licensed financial advisors, and everything that we talk about today is not financial advice. Okay, so there's that. All right, there's that. So I see Ali was here first today. What's good? Naruto Ninja FX, Josh, what's going on? Mason is here, and John D is also here. What's good? I see you guys like the video already. We appreciate that. There's about 35 or 40 of you, excuse me, on here. So if you could go ahead and smash that like button, so that way we can help, you know, get on the algorithm, get more people on here, and that way more people can have fun and we can hang out and learn some shit. All right, so without a further ado, what's good, Matthew? How you doing, man?
What up? What's good? What's up, everybody? Imagine you're doing well. Happy Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what I have for you guys today, we won't do too much of the chart work, but we will have, I feel like it's gonna be a fairly interesting conversation. I know it's been a while since we've spoken, but you know, that's one thing about Matthew and I. You know, we never really lost contact with one another. You know what I mean? Despite anything that you guys may have heard or whatever, we've always been cool. We've always been friends. So it's always a good thing, man. It's always a good thing. So I guess the first thing, introduction, man. Why don't you tell people who you are, what you've been up to, in case they don't know. In case they don't know.
Yeah, of course. So as always, you already know, super grateful to be here. My name's Matthew. I'm currently 23 years old. I've been trading now for about 5 complete years. I don't know, I wouldn't really count the first 2. I feel like I was really just, you know, learning. I mean, I feel like you're always learning more about yourself and your habits and your tendencies, and you know, we'll get into that stuff as well. I feel like trading really just teaches you a lot more about yourself than you really anticipate, diving into that rabbit hole. But for me, you know, I have a company called Abundant Capital. You know, we pretty much stream live every single day for the New York Open at 9 a.m. Eastern. So yeah, it's a private community. You know, we stream live. You know, we have market mentorships. You know, I do a lot of one-on-one coaching with traders, and yeah, you know, involved in a couple of other things. You know, a family-owned business with ag transportation and stuff. That's one of like my main focuses as well. So we do a lot of ag transportation. We have a real estate company, but trading is really the main thing that I enjoy doing in terms of on a day-to-day basis. Streaming is something I'm very passionate about. So I've been streaming for a little while now, consistently for a few years. And yes, something I enjoy doing is just, you know, being able to share this experience with people, you know, being able to see people make progress, being able to see people, you know, grow on their journey and, you know, create their own results. So, you know, I'm really just grateful to be a part of people's journey and, you know, to continue growing on mine, because I believe that, you know, it's important to always be a student. You know, I never feel like I really got this thing, or, you know, I have it. I feel like it's a constant process of learning and growing. So, you know, I enjoy spending a lot of time with my family, spend a lot of time with my dog, of course, like my younger brother, you know, my girlfriend, my family, all of that good stuff. So, you know, aside from trading and the entrepreneurship side, uh, you know, I love spending time with my family. You know, I love riding my bike. And yeah, I've been playing a lot of golf lately. So I'm not the best golfer, but it's fun. You know, I enjoy being outside. So yeah. So, and of course, friends with cool people like John. So very
Hey,
grateful for the people in my network as well.
hey, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
Look at that. We got quite a few people on here. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. And yeah, it looks like you got some love in the chat too, man. You know, and I know you've been on social media. You've been trading and teaching traders for it's been at least like what, 3 years now?
Teaching, yeah,
Yeah.
sharing, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right. So that's awesome. I don't think I've ever played golf before. Maybe like the what's the mini golf?
Yeah, mini golf.
You know, like when I was a kid, but that's about the extent of that. But that's awesome, man. No, that's awesome. You know, always a student and hanging out with your family, man. That's blessed. You know, that's super important. Super
Most
important.
definitely. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like one of the main reasons why I got into what attracted me towards trading was, the idea at first of just, oh, you could have more time, So
Mhm.
yeah, it's definitely a blessing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The time freedom. You know, that's just the one thing that we can't get back. That's our most important thing in this life. So awesome. Well, I didn't write down any of the questions that I did last time, so it's all cool. Plus, I think a lot of the times too, when the conversations just go all over the place, they usually are the best ones too. The only really, I guess, couple things that I have is one of them is books. So, are you big into reading? You know, what's your favorite book, and are you reading anything right now?
Yeah, so I feel like one of the books that had like one of the biggest impacts on me was Asking It Is Given by Jerry and Esther Hicks, the teachings of Abraham and all of that good stuff.
What's it called again?
It's Asking It Is Given.
Okay.
I have I have it right here in my library. I could pull it out.
Ask and it is given. Okay, and while you're doing that, guys, if you're watching this in the recording, I'll likely find that on Amazon, and I'll put the link into the description so that you can get a copy.
You can't really see with the blurriness, the blurred background, but you can see the color. Oh, there it is. Asking It Is Given. And I just had a deja vu right now, which is pretty interesting. Right when I
Yeah.
just said it. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But and then this book right here, U Squared. You can see it. U
I've heard of
Squared.
that one.
Yes, very powerful book, very short book. Anybody can read this book. This book is literally like 30 pages. It's a high velocity formula for multiplying your personal effectiveness and quantum leaps. So, it really just goes into Bob Proctor actually recommends this book in his program, Thinking into Results. And yeah, pretty much just goes into quantum leaps. And, we understand it's our state of being where we create our reality from. And, I talk a lot about, not needing to have something in order to do something so you could finally be something. It's, being that person who does the things that person does. And that's how you experience the things that person experiences. So I feel like, books like U Squared, Asking It Is Given, really emphasizes, your state of being because, we understand our thoughts and our feelings. Our thoughts influence our feelings. Thoughts and feelings creates what most refer to as our vibration, which is the way we feel. And a feeling is what they call a conscious awareness of vibration. So that's being, when we say we feel a certain way, like that's us consciously being aware of where we are on a vibrational scale with our energy. And based off where we are, anything that we do, we're creating from that space. So, they say everybody does things, but everybody does things a certain way. So, based off of the thoughts and feelings, the thoughts that we're entertaining, we feel a certain way, and then our actions are automatic with that same energy. That creates our experience, our outcome, our results, stuff like that. So, pretty much showing that it's a direct reflection, our experience itself, our results are a direct reflection of our internal belief system, which is the thoughts and feelings that we're entertaining, our state of being, really how you feel. It's important to feel good, and just be aware of how you're feeling. And yeah, not really feeling bad, about how you're feeling, but acknowledging it first. And because just like in trading, when you see like, oh, why did this happen? And you go into it and you back test it, we could really do that with our experiences, with our results. We could look into, okay, why am I experiencing this? And then we could back test it all the way to the thoughts and the ideas that we're entertaining. And these books really talk about, or many other books as well, just in general, about you know things that are serving us and things that aren't serving us, thoughts and ideas that serve us. So it really just helps me focus on goals and feeling good about where I am and what I'm doing, and being grateful. Ultimately, I feel like that's the thing. I feel like a lot of times, I was really stuck in a phase before I started reading books like this. It was like always chasing something, like, oh, I need this, I need that, and it was always a state of lack to where I felt like I didn't have it. When in reality, if you're listening, like, you are enough. Like, you're everything you ever need. Like, everything you need is like within you. So knowing that is like, wow, like, wherever you are right now, you can create from where you are. So it's like, what energy do you want to create with? So yeah, everybody does things, but everybody does things a certain way. So it's like how you're doing certain things based off of the energy you're moving with. So you have the ability to change everything. So that's what these books really showed me, for sure.
Look at that. Only 11 minutes in and dropping some major gems, some major nuggets for you guys. So, you know, I've never read U Squared, but it sounds almost like what we talked about earlier, how you said quality over quantity,
Mm,
right? And not that, and again, I've never read U Squared, but it almost reminds me of Epictetus, the Enchiridion. I don't know if you've ever read it, but
mm,
I have a book, and it's discourses and selected writings by Epictetus, and at the very end of it is the Enchiridion. It's very short, but it's fucking powerful. Like, it's just short, sweet, to the point, and he just knocks your socks off, man. Like,
mm.
and that's what I like. I feel like a lot of books nowadays just have a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the what is it called, the publishing companies, I feel like
Mhm,
when they have a deal with a writer, that it has to meet like a certain length requirement, and
mhm.
for that reason I think a lot of books have unnecessary fluff, and I don't really care for that.
Right. No,
So
yeah, I feel like the way, especially like Bob Proctor, like, rest in peace, is like these 7 words, like, are just, for me, like, I like to keep things super simple, right? When it comes to trading, I'm just this, right? I don't know if you can see it. I just look for that, and then I look for that. But
I
with
know what's out there.
so be, do, have, like, being, doing, and having, like, the be, do, have, like, that aspect is just so powerful, because it's like, whatever you want to be, like, you just have to, they say, learn from people who have what you want. It's like, okay, well, if you want to be a professional trader, you know okay, you can't just say, like, I am a professional trader. No, like, you have to be by doing, like, doing the things a professional trader does, and then that's how you experience the things a professional trader has, right? And then how do we create those results? It's thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Like, it's called the transmutation cycle, is what they call it. It's your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results. And it's having all of those in alignment, your thoughts, feelings, and actions in alignment with the results that you want. So being, doing, and having. Like, I like to keep it that simple. There's books you read this big, and a lot of them have very powerful stories and concepts, and I feel like it all goes back full circle. So a lot of
Mhm.
powerful information out there, and I love how different books deliver it as well, especially when they share stories with it. It's feel like it's very powerful from people's real life experiences. Like,
Yeah,
that's very powerful.
yeah. And I recently put out an email, I think it was last week, and it was about a book called Thoughts of a Philosophical Fighter Pilot.
Hmm.
And it's a little long, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's pretty long, but like, that to me is real history, right? And it's about a guy who was a fighter pilot, but he also studied like Epictetus and stoicism and stuff like that, and he really lived those things. I forget the exact quote, but it was when his plane, I guess, was shot down, or it was going down, and he ejected out of the seat, and he knows that he's in enemy territory, and he says something along the lines of, I am leaving the world of technology and entering the world of Epictetus, because like he knows like he's fucked, you know, like he's about to be a prisoner of war, he's about to be tortured and stuff like that. And that's where he got to truly apply Stoic philosophy and you know, those ideas. So that to me is real history, you know, not whitewashed you know, school system public education bullshit that's been rewritten, you know, to make it's bad, you know what I mean? So I would rather learn from people who actually did those things. And I think fables are okay too. I don't know if you've ever heard of the monk who sold his Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's a fable, but it portrays the message in a different way. I was talking to my stepdad a few weeks ago, and he's into leadership books, I'm into leadership books, but I'm more into like John C. Maxwell. But he's more into like Ken something and Simon Sinek. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool, but I just prefer John Maxwell. And he was like, well, I prefer reading stories that apply, you know, the message, whereas John Maxwell is a little bit more analytical, a little bit more like data, like do this, this, and this. So I guess it just depends on how you want to learn, and you know, find a teacher that displays it in a way that you want. So so you did mention being a professional trader. So I know a lot of people on here are on their own journey, and you know, some people are going to be beginners, some people are going to be intermediate, and some people are going to be, you know, considered experts. What would you say helped you out the most in your trading?
I would say surrounding myself with people who had the results that I wanted. Um, you know, I've had a lot of amazing mentors, of course, as you know, everybody, you know, when it comes to the trade house and, you know, many other mentors and other different types of businesses. But when it comes to trading, I feel like trading is a very lonely journey, you know, like, especially like if you just keep showing up every day, you're just by yourself and you're focused, you're studying, like you're doing all these things, like, you know, it's very easy to just feel like you're closed in. And I feel like the journey is more enjoyable when you have a community of people around you, you know, like when you have people there that you can share, you know, that you could like be vulnerable with and open with, like someone you could talk to your about your losses with, you know, your wins, and like you could review things with, accountability partners. I feel like that's powerful. So like, you know, for me, it's having that tight inner circle of, you know, accountability partners and the mastermind and people that you're constantly growing with. For me, I feel like that's what allowed me to continue to grow, and I feel like just become more confident in my process, is knowing that, you know, I'm like surrounded by high level people who, you know, I have to do my best, because if I don't, I'm just like, I don't belong in this circle, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, so I feel like having that accountability group for sure is like very powerful, because a lot of
Accountability
times, you
group.
know, like taking those losses by yourself, you know, like I've broken chairs, I've done all that stuff,
Yeah.
but like when you have people to talk to, like a strong support system, it makes the journey easier, honestly. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I do think that is a roadblock for some people. You know, I've heard stories of, well, you know, I like to trade, but my significant other, you know, doesn't like it, or,
Yeah.
you know, I haven't made money in like 6 months or a year, so, you know, I don't know if this is working. And their partner, you know, I think can make or break someone's career.
That's
You know what I mean?
100% so true. I couldn't agree more to that statement right there.
Dude, I like feel bad for certain people,
Yeah.
because for, I don't know if it's like this for you, but for some reason every once in a while someone will like just spill their life story. You know, they'll get fucking detailed, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like details that I would not likely share with anyone else, right?
You're lucky a therapist, you know?
Yeah, that's
You're
what I'm
just there,
saying.
there to
You-
listen.
you know, and that is one of the things that I, you know, it makes me sad, you know, where it's like, oh, my partner, they don't support me or whatever, or something like that. My friends, my family, they all make fun of me. They keep asking how much I've made, and all this, and that really gets to people. As much as we want whatever it may be, trading, entrepreneurship, business, leadership, whatever, it's very crucial, I think, to either have an accountability partner or some type of team or system, something to that effect. So you run Abundant Capital, I've got some private students, Trade House, still we're a large organization, and it's also why I have this YouTube channel. You know what I mean? And one thing too that I want to make this a point, I always want to make this a point, is the mentor as well. Like, I believe that people should not just have one mentor, right? Like, I could run my YouTube channel and have it just be me and like that's it, but I don't think that benefits students as much as it could. You know what I mean? So this is why I bring people on like you, and Ricky was here recently, and a whole bunch of other people have been on, and I'm going to continue to bring on more people to give their story, give tips and stuff like that. So I am really excited that you're here, man. It's been awesome so far.
No, yeah, I'm super grateful to be here, and yeah, I couldn't agree with that statement more about the support system.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many online communities, like, even if you don't have, and you really just have to evaluate like that significant other, I guess, like like everyone's in a different situation. That's the thing, is that you can never really tell someone like, oh, like what to do with their life, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, because like some people have kids, they're taking care of their family, their parents, and they're in a specific situation, and you do your best to empathize with it, but the reality is a lot of times, like, you can't really relate to that, so all you could do is just listen, and I feel like that's very powerful. If you have someone and you feel like they just ask them, like, hey, is there anything like you feel like you need to talk about or get off your shoulders, your chest and stuff, because a lot of people are carrying around a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
and yes, like sometimes people will just lay a lot of stuff on you, but that's up to you on how attached you are to those things, right? Because you could be connected to that situation, but you don't have to allow that energy to stick with you, and you take it everywhere. Like, you could do different forms of other meditation, or just like cleansing yourself, your space and stuff, because your space is everything. Your space is should be the most sacred thing in your life, is your entire space. We hear that all the time, like your space, it's everything. Like, however your room is, your everything about it is very important. So yeah, like I feel like yeah, having that support system and community is very key. Kind of off topic, but you mentioned earlier about the textbooks and stuff in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting how like McGraw-Hill, the textbook company, is like owned by Standard & Poor, S&P. So
I didn't know that.
yeah,
It's probably why their books are fucking $200.
yeah, yeah, no, literally, yeah. It's in a Forbes article from like 2011, I think, or something. But yeah, like S&P owns McGraw-Hill, like the company. Standard & Poor company owns McGraw-Hill. So it just makes sense, the markets, the textbooks are owned by S&P, so it's funny.
Yeah, it's interesting how they do that. I went to college not for very long, but it's like, all right, for 2023 we're gonna have version the 26th edition, and then next year, oh, we can only have the next edition. We can't use last year, so you got to buy another $300 book. Oh, and once you buy it for 300, once the class is over, it's only gonna have like a $20 resale value. It's wild, man. Like, college is such a scam. It's ridiculous, and I say that with full confidence. What I can't speak on though confidently is when people come to me with certain problems, like let's say a partner, for example. Like, dude, I'm a single guy, okay? So you don't want my advice when it comes to when my significant other doesn't want me to trade or no shit like that, because I have advice for that. But I can guarantee you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Because your relationship will be ruined. You know what I mean?
I have similar advice that you have, and I've been in a relationship for some years, so I'll say the same shit that you're saying probably.
You look, man. I don't even want to say it.
It's okay. I think people get the message.
No, but what you said earlier, it's true. You know, some people just want to be heard, and sometimes that is therapeutic. So I mean, I don't mind it. Or you know, even if it's through like a text or a voice message, like it's cool. But if someone does ask specifically for, you know, my advice or some sort of recommendation, I'll give it. But yeah, certain things I just cannot speak on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they say like after after you get some type of advice that could make your situation better, and you have that same situation, that same problem, and like you come back to that person with it, it's like it's a choice at that point. It's like we all have choices, and I feel like it goes back to accountability and responsibility, from the no longer being a victim to understanding that like you're creating your entire experience. Like that's a very powerful shift, and like I feel like a lot of times we have moments in life where there's certain things that just aren't in our control, and we wish they could be. And I guess I'll just share this prayer that honestly like helps me a lot. It's called the Serenity Prayer, and I literally have it right here, like next to my desk, like all the time, because it's just something that reminds me. It's it says, God, grant me the serenity to understand that, to accept the things I cannot change, right? The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? So it's, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Because like, certain things you're just not in control of. Certain things you just can't change, and it just is what it is. And certain things you do have the ability to change, and it's having the courage to change those things, because or else it's just going to be that constant loop, that cycle of the same thing happening over and over and over again, which may not be something that you want, but you have the ability to create, and it's taking responsibility, accountability for pretty much every aspect, right? Every single experience that we have. And yeah, like no longer being a victim. Like it's a powerful shift right there for sure.
Yeah, no, it's a very powerful prayer, and I'm pretty sure that's why it's used in NA and AA and stuff like that. Because I mean, they wouldn't keep it if it didn't help or work. You know what I mean?
That's who shared it. The person who shared it with me, I won't share his name, but he was, yeah, like over like 8 maybe 10 years ago, he was in there, and he's doing very well now. Like he's extremely healthy. Like
That's good.
yeah, dude's a beast, And when I met him, he was like his best version of himself. So like when he shared that with me, I was like, dude, that's so powerful, like so many situations you could feel like they have control over you, but it goes back to, I believe you were sharing this on your stream, was it the other day, or I don't remember. I think it was Smart Money Stoics, the most recent video you did. And my girlfriend actually, like when she went to school, she studied stuff about drug and alcohol addiction and stuff like that. And it really is your relationship with things in your life. It's not the things themselves, but it's your relationship with these experiences that you're having, with these beliefs that you have, with whatever it is, right? Your relationship with losing a trade, with this person saying this or this happening. It's really about your perception really does create your reality. So they say when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at start to change. And there's many different ways to look at different things, and you have a unique perspective, and you're in control for sure.
You want to know what's very interesting, and this is so cool that you brought that up, because guess what? So in the Serenity Prayer, I don't know who wrote that, but I know that that second part, the courage to change the things I can. So what's interesting is the dichotomy of control, which I have a video on, and that's actually what tomorrow's email is about, is the dichotomy of control. And so it was Epictetus who said our chief task in life is to divide things into 2 categories: things we do control and things we don't control, right? What's also funny, well, not funny, but what's also coincidental is that courage, right,
Mm-hmm.
is actually one of the four cardinal virtues. You know, justice, courage, wisdom, and I think temperance. You know, so it's interesting the connection to Stoic philosophy that the Serenity Prayer has. Courage, one of the four cardinal virtues, and then implementing that dichotomy of control by asking for the courage to change what I have the ability to change. You know what I mean? So, and people, I still try to portray this as much as I can. Stoic philosophy, like, is so powerful, and it's like in today's world, I think a lot of people use it but don't even know that it was from that.
Yeah.
You know, like people don't know that a lot of the personal development gurus from today and over the last 100 years or so, it's like, dude, a lot of this came from 2000 years ago. You know, either biblical wisdom or stoic wisdom from literally 1800, 1900 years ago. So
Yeah,
it's always,
I didn't really start to understand that until you started sharing it. So it's very powerful.
bro,
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
didn't start understanding that until I really got deep into the work of Ryan Holiday. So he is author of one of his best books, and one of the greatest recommendations that I've ever given is Stillness is the Key.
Mm.
You know, and he's got, I think, 12 or 13 books at this point. And so I really liked his work. I started following him on Instagram as well as YouTube. He does like shorts and stuff like that. I've actually been to his bookshop in Bastrop, Texas. I was there in January, actually. So he wasn't there. I didn't get to meet him, but I bought some books from his bookstore and everything like that. And I have some coins as well. I've shared that on this channel, the Memento Mori coin and the Premeditatio Malorum coin. I have both of those. So yeah, it's just what's interesting is that, like, Stoicism was cool back then, but yet it was suppressed by the emperors of their time. You know, not Marcus Aurelius, of course, but like other emperors like Nero and stuff like that. They banned philosophers, you know, and stuff like that, which is very interesting because look at today's world. Look what they do. They censor politicians. I'm not going to name names, but y'all know what's been going on the last 6-7 years. They're banning Twitter accounts, right? And all that. They're rigging elections. Fuck it, I'll say it. You know what I mean? They're doing this type of shit, right? The powers that be, they've always done that, though. You know what I mean? And so it's like, well, why did they do that? Why would they ban these things? And now you know why. Because it's life-changing, it's powerful, and it really changes people's lives. So I think it's great, and I continue to share these ideas. And one of the best parts, too, is that being an educator, right? And this probably goes for you, too. You know, we teach people all over the world. And the one thing that we have to kind of be mindful of is that we're speaking to people that believe in a lot of different things, you know, different belief systems, you know, different religious beliefs and stuff like that. And I think one of the greatest things about Stoicism is that it's not a religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like changing the way you think and how you think about things, and all the other Stoic ideas, dichotomy of control and all that. There's no religious, you know, context to it. So it's applicable to everybody, despite whatever you believe in. You know what I mean? So I think that's really cool. So real quick, I just want to back up for a second into the chat, because if we don't get to it now, we probably won't. And you guys are more than welcome to ask either myself or Matthew any question that you guys have. But I would prefer you ask Matthew because he's our guest today. So if you have any questions for him, you can ask. But Wesley asked, could you recommend a book or an audio to fight through something like that? Now, that was around the time we were talking about the significant other and maybe not having support from either friends or family or their partners. Do you have anything for that? Because I don't have a book recommendation specifically for that.
As far as
Maybe accountability or teamwork or something to that effect, because I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, any any relationship you have, like it's and we've all learned through trial and error. There's no like perfect relationship and stuff. Um,
Yep.
like you're not always gonna agree on everything, but you gotta definitely, if it's someone you see yourself spending like a long time with, I feel like you gotta be clear on your goals, on your vision. Something. Uh, who was it? Someone shared this with me. I don't remember who it was, but it's like you need to have these three things. It's you need to have similar vision, similar work ethic, and it's got to be someone you can trust, like with your entire life.
Yeah.
Like if the trust like has to be unquestionable. You have to have a similar vision, meaning like you're on the same page with this vision, and like the work ethic is there, or the commitment is there, right? Because maybe it's not like doing all this, a bunch of stuff, but like the commitment to the vision is there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
by any means, it's there. So those three things you got to have, like unquestionable amount of trust. You got to have a similar vision. You got to be on the same page with that vision. It's always got to be at the forefront. And yeah, you got to just have the same type of commitment or work ethic or whatever it is. Because everyone plays their different roles on a team or whatever it is. Not everybody could play this position or that position. Everyone's playing different positions. Fulfilling different roles, doing different things. So those three things are powerful. Whether it's in a personal relationship or in a team or whatever it is. But when it comes to, I think he said like fighting something like that. I feel like uh, David Hawkins is a very powerful author as well with his stuff. Power versus force, letting go. A lot of these concepts again goes back to stoicism and all of that.
I think Effie mentioned that book too when he was on here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. Power versus force, letting go. Anything by David Hawkins, uh, powerful.
He said the same thing.
Yeah, literally anything, like anything. Yeah, very very powerful stuff. But yeah, hope that helps or gives you some insight on what to look into next.
There you go.
Mhm.
So let's see. Anthony said Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Love it. I love it too. And matter of fact, I just ordered another copy for myself because it's a $7.99 book. It's printed on very cheap paper, which is cool. But I mean, you read through it 2 times, and dude, it's this might be gross to some people, but if you look at the book, right, if I take it off the shelf and I show you the pages, there's actually like a orange yellow kind of streak where my thumb is at, like when you hold a book or like you skim through it, because my thumb has literally been over the pages over and over and over again. So like the books, they just get nasty, you know what I mean? So I ordered another copy so that way I can have that ready to go whenever this one gets clapped. So yeah, I love Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Matthew, have you read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius?
I actually just ordered it because I just like, how am I gonna hop on John's stream and not have read this? Um, so yeah, and actually, no, there's a couple of people, like the only people I see recommending this book are extremely high level, you know, performers in any, whether industry or whatever it is. Like I've literally keep seeing it get recommended, and I'm just like, why the hell haven't I read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius?
Dude,
So
at least the modern library version. I have the other version, Penguin Classics, but it's too I don't know, it's too not English changes over time, right? Like we all know that. And it's just modern library makes it just so fluent and so easy to read versus the other version where I have to really concentrate. And I'm like, dude, this is too much. So make sure to get the modern library version. That's the one that's got the raven looking thing on it.
yeah, that's the one that I ordered.
Oh, dude, Gregory Hayes. That's who translated it. Oh, it's so good. As a matter of fact, Ryan Holiday has one but it's got a premium leather version, so it's like $110, but like I think it's really cool. But anyways, that book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, I personally believe that book should be in every jail, every prison. It should be in every school system. Kids like me who practically lived at in-school suspension or lived at home from home suspension, that book should be given as a requirement, to kids that misbehave. You know what I mean? Because I just feel like that would be way more beneficial than what they did with me and my other friends. They just put us in a box and said, fuck off, don't, talk or text or anything like that. Like, and you'll be let go in 8 hours. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, let me read some shit,
Mm-hmm.
So that's how powerful I personally think it is. And the fact that it's only $7.99 on Amazon just means that there's no excuse. Like, there's absolutely no excuse. So yeah. But anyway, I could ramble on about Marcus Aurelius and meditation. I could quote him so much, like it's crazy. So we'll just breeze past that so we can continue. Freeborn.
Let's keep talking about him.
Dude, I literally will be here for fucking ever.
I'm going to keep you updated every step of the way through this book.
Bro, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, no, I know
you're gonna love it.
You have the best book recommendations. That's all I could say. So,
and I get most of my book recommendations from Ryan Holiday. So
yeah. No, yeah, I've read his Obstacle is the Way. It's a very powerful book.
Yeah. That's a good one for traders too.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the one that was printed by Penguins is because that one's harder to read because that's when they were printing them inside their igloos, So I could understand why that one, was a little harder to read.
Oh God, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Freeborn FX asked, what daily habits can I incorporate into my life to be consistently profitable? I'll let you speak on that first.
So for me, there's a whole process, right? There's a whole process. There's a whole trading process. And for me, I break it down like this. Like there's your approach, right? There's your analysis stage, right? There's planning the trade, executing the trade, managing the trade, exiting the trade, journaling the trade, moving on from the trade, and then preparing yourself for whatever opportunities are to come, right? So starts with your approach, right? Which is really like, it goes back to what is your state of being. And for me, this is like one of the biggest things that I realized is there's so many people out here, like, we could say the way we trade is the best way we trade all we want. We obviously trade the way we do for a reason. It's very simple. And the reality is there's so many traders who are trading the most random things you could ever think of, and they're profitable. A lot of them are, living the dream life that most people would want to live, from trading. And to me, it just goes back to, it's not necessarily like, it's not the tool, it's the person using it, right? So it goes back to, you could have this strategy, you could do this, you could do that, but it really comes down to you. So when you ask about certain habits, I feel like, some that help for me is before I even get on the charts, like this is just something I do. I go outside before I even go to my desk. I walk outside. I'm in California, so it's dark outside still when I wake up. And yeah, like I just walk in my grass. Like I personally just walk in my grass, and I just have a moment to myself of, gratitude, and like I'm ready. Like, it's not really, there's not words that are said. It's really just a sense, a feeling of like, what time it is. Like it's a new day, like you're blessed, you're grateful, and you're ready for what's about to, happen, what you're about to do. So, um, you know, I know traders who have like the most insane routine where they do so many different things, and then they get on the charts and they do this. I know people, even myself included, sometimes like just wake up and get on the charts, and Like it's really like that sometimes, you know? And I feel like it's there's so many habits, so many things you could do, so many routines, but it really comes down to you. That is the reality of like your results are like dependent on you. Like we could show you the way we trade, like all of this stuff, but it really comes down to you. And the pillars for profitability. We actually posted something on this today, and actually you shared it as well, John, and it was interesting. You shared it. Was it Jesse Livermore, I believe. What is it? The You shared it. It's three things.
The successful traders trio.
Successful traders trio, and I thought it was very interesting.
That's just
You
what
know,
I call it personally. I mean,
no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought it
you
was
know,
very interesting because all of these things that come and they get like mixed into like different ways of saying them or whatever it is. So like for me, how I was introduced to it is the pillars of profitability, and it's really just like the foundation that your trading is built on. So it really comes down to having those habits as a trader, right? Because I believe it's not just the habits you have like with your trading, but obviously outside of trading will help you inside of trading. Like
there you
they
go.
say how you do anything's how you do everything. So
Bars.
yeah, yeah. So how like look at every other aspect of your life before you try to come onto the charts and fix your life. Like work on other aspects of your life and then watch how trading becomes simpler. It doesn't feel like it's forced and all these other things, but when it comes down to trading specifically, it's because people talk about balance and stuff, doing this and doing that, and trust me, I've lived a very imbalanced journey and trading where I just like was only on charts all day every day, like slept at my desk, woke up trading London, New York, was back at it, like all of
Sheesh.
this, like we've done that, but it's like you learn that over time, like how John we are talking about earlier, it's quality over quantity. Like there's so many other things you could work on in your life that will make not just trading but every other aspect better, because a lot of times people think, a certain amount of money will make them feel better. And, they say if you have a problem that money can solve, then you don't have a problem. So for me, along the way, I realized me living that super imbalanced life, I had other problems going on in my life that I wasn't paying attention to because I was just trying to force things here, in trading, to where, I was neglecting my health, my relationships, all of these other things that honestly, that's what makes life fulfilling, is the way you feel and your experiences with other people. Trading is a powerful tool. You can come in, you can make money to live your life and do all these things. But for me, it was like I realized that. So I'm gonna go into the stuff you could do in terms of trading, but I just wanted to really emphasize that from personal experience, that the more you focus on other aspects of your life, including trading, everything else will become easier, become better. So it really starts with your psychology, right? Like what kind of mindset you have. Again, we talked about the approach. Like that's the first thing, is your approach, right? So I won't go too much into like trading mindset and stuff, but Mark Douglas, Mark Douglas,
Go.
Mark Mark Douglas, and Mark Douglas, yeah. And oh yeah, Mark Douglas. Just look for everything. Start there. If you never read or listened to Mark Douglas, watch the seminars. Start with Mark Douglas. I'll just start you there. And then, so yes, psychology is the first pillar. Second pillar is your risk management, right? You have to have consistent risk management. If you're not consistent with that, then your equity curve is just going to be like bouncing up and down. You want to, you're, you should only be taking a small loss, a small win, a big win, or a break even, right? Like your outcomes of a trade should either be a small win, a small loss, a break even, or a big win. Right? You should never take a big loss. Like you gotta. I believe being conservative long term, just it's just the way to go. Like I've gone through phases of risking 5, 10% of my account, and
Oof.
it's cool, but like, you know, you're not always just gonna keep winning. Sometimes you'll take a couple losses, and those couple losses could eat your account. So these days, we're being very conservative. Literally risking like a 1/4% on trades, because then now it's like if you lose 3, 4 trades in a day or in a week, like you're only down 1%. If you're risking five, 10%, I mean, you're down 25 to 50%. So um, psychology, risk management, and your trading plan. Like you have to have a sound trading plan that you follow, and it's something that you act on without reservation or hesitation. It's something to where, okay, if I see this, I do this. If I don't see this, I do nothing. Like you need to be disciplined enough to not just have a trading plan, not just have sound risk management rules, not just, be able to check yourself psychologically, but to be have the discipline to actually follow through with that trading plan. Because if you have a trading plan and you're not following it, then what was the point of creating one in the first place, right? You need to be able to act on it without reservation or hesitation. You only execute when you see this. If you tell yourself you only trade when you see this, well, you better only trade when you see this, right? And if it's not there, then you're not taking a trade. And if you tell yourself, if my target, I'm only going for 1 to 3 minimum or whatever it is, you better only take a trade if that target is there. It's having the discipline to not pull the trigger if you have like an over trading problem, because most traders are failing because they're over trading, they're over leveraging, and all of that stuff. So, being able to, again, have that approach with your analysis stage, be able to plan the trade, execute it, and manage it accordingly. You need to have trade management rules. You're being able to go break even whenever a certain thing happens. Like if you're going break even whenever it goes X amount of points in your direction, or it creates a high, low, high, and then you're break even on a buy, or low, high, low when you're selling, and then you go break even, or you pay yourself out of 1 to 3. Your exit strategy, your exits are far more important than your entries. So you need to have a sound trading plan that you're following like religiously. And this is something that will constantly be developed. Like me, I'm always looking at ways on how I can improve my trading plan, how I can maximize my profits, how I can minimize my losses. And one of the things that I share with people is, an analogy is, imagine you have, 3 shots and a sniper, right? And again, shout out to John, right? You see his logo, he's got the sniper, right? And there's a reason for that, is because
Yes.
like literally imagine this, right? Imagine you only have 3 shots and a sniper, right? And it's you, and there's 3 targets, right? It's like if you're playing Search and Destroy, right? Anybody who plays Call of Duty or anything, imagine it's a 1v3, you're in overtime, you have 3 shots, you don't have scavenger on, and that's all you got. You're going to be very selective with those 3 shots. You're going to be very conservative, and you're going to take a clean shot when it presents itself. You're not going to go out and just spray, right? But again, I actually share this because I actually believe I shared this in a chat recently, the way I broke it down, and I'm just going to read this to you guys. So it said, imagine you only have 3 bullets in the sniper and your life depends on it. It's a 3v1, right? On Search and Destroy in overtime, or real life, right? I can't really relate to it in real life because I've never been in that position in real life, only in Call of Duty, right? Right off the bat, the odds are against you, right? Right off the bat in trading, the reality is the odds are against you, right? But it doesn't mean that you cannot win, right? You need to be very selective and preserve those 3 shots that you have. If not, you will compromise your position and overexpose yourself, leading to more risk and higher probabilities of you getting clapped, right? So capital preservation is first, right? Shoot to kill, right? Your capital growth, that's second. So, you know, terms of, I know I don't have charts up or anything right now, but I say this: stick to your higher time frame areas of liquidity, your imbalances, right? Your points of interest, your mitigation areas, right? Wait for your evidence of reaccumulation, redistribution. Again, if you're new and you're not familiar with this terminology, if you know what's going on, then you know what I'm talking about. Then take the shot only if it's aligning and makes sense across multiple time frames with the overall trend, not just smaller time frame or counter trends for entries and targets. The risk to reward really has to be there, and more importantly, for the first logical target, your first short-term target, because things do move quick and can change quickly after that shot has been taken. You can move into a new position, which means new data can be presented, but it doesn't mean you have to take another shot, right? Preserve and execute those 3 shots like your life depends on it. And sometimes, guess what? Sometimes you'll get a collateral with 1 shot and you won't even need to take the second 2, right? Sometimes you'll take out all 3 with that 1 shot. So, it's really, you're really just seeing how you can make the most out of those 1 to 3 shots max as if it was all you were given. And again, this allows you to cherry pick higher quality opportunities. So I know I went into a lot about your question and stuff, but I kind of wanted to shove all that in there, but I'll stop there.
No, there you go, man. That's pretty solid. If I
Yeah.
don't even remember which question we were on. I think it was the daily habits one. And I'll just keep this short, sweet, and to the point. I have 2 videos on my channel, and it's called Cream de la Cream 1 and Cream de la Cream 2, which is the habits of high performance people. And that's going to answer your question way more thoroughly than I could here. I made a presentation specifically on the habits of high performance people, so athletes, traders, and stuff like that. Atomic Habits by James Clear. I
You
flashed
actually
up there.
recommended this book to me.
Bro, you know what's crazy? I think that book was given to me for my birthday some years ago. One of my really good friends, and I got it. I thought it was really good, and I didn't realize how popular it was either. But once I read it, I started recommending that, and then I ended up making that one book of the month as well for my students within the IM Academy. So I've put on for James Clear for a long time too.
Yeah.
1% better every day, the value of disappointment, and all that. It's just good stuff, man. And again, I want to reiterate this. I want you guys to read, man, to read, please. A lot of us have more free time in the day than we actually think. Okay? And reading just has some powerful stuff, man. Kind of goes back to what I said earlier. You don't want to just hear from me or from 1 or 2 people. You want to hear from a lot of different people. I've recommended, I don't know, probably 100 books at this point altogether over the years. Maybe like 80, I don't know, but a shit ton. You know what I mean? So different people, man, they present information different ways, or maybe present something just that clicks with you, and that's why I do those things. So real quick, there was another question from Valeria, something like that. Anyway, the question is, if you were starting again with no money or investment, only a job, which plan would you have?
If I was starting with would you say no money in a job?
Like, yeah, I guess like you have a job, but I guess you don't have any starting capital. What would you do?
So I would. So it really just depends like what kind of job that person has, right? And if the job that they're currently in, it's evaluating it and seeing if it's something that they want to do long term, it's something they want to build a career in. Um, not I would look for if not I would look for a job that will yield more return for your efforts, a performance based job,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sales. Sales is one of the highest paying skills in the world. You can do it from home. You could go door to door. Like, a lot of us have done that, right? Like we've, done network marketing, door to door sales, sales over the phone, all of that stuff. And for me, like that's what helped me get in that position to where I could go all in from trading. Like I was still working on my trading and stuff, but I had an opportunity that allowed me to build a certain amount of capital that gave me that room to live and to do all these other things because
Breathing room.
at my other job I was getting paid minimum wage and it wasn't performance based, it was based off of my time. So I feel if you could, develop the skill of sales and, find an opportunity to where you can, earn commission and stuff, I feel like that will, that can help accelerate, especially if you're getting paid based off of time plus commission. I feel like that's very powerful. But again, if you're just doing it based off of time and a salary based off of that, I mean, you definitely want to make sure you have enough money to live and to pay your bills to where you're not stressing about trading to pay for those bills, right? I feel like your living, your hygiene, you should never really have to sacrifice stuff like that to put your money into trading and try to make it happen like that. Continue to study. you know um, I don't really recommend people to you know demo trade and stuff, but again, it's important to develop an understanding through studying, because you should be studying way more than you're trading. I thought I was going to become a millionaire my first year in trading, and this is a long-term game, right? This is a long-term game, so I feel like it's having that reality, that understanding that at first trading is going to be supplemental income, right? Like, it's going to be just extra money for this, for that. Like, maybe you start making money to pay for groceries, and then you could start making money to pay for this bill. Funded accounts, the opportunities that we have these days is wild, right? Like, when we first started trading, I mean, I didn't know about funded accounts and stuff like that. I don't think they really had them, or at least I just wasn't aware of them. But I would say, just put aside a certain amount, you know, put aside a certain amount so that you could get that funded account, that evaluation, but continue studying. Like, I always tell people at least an hour a day. If you could put in at least an hour a day, if you have a job, you have kids, you have this, you have that. If you could dedicate at least an hour a day to studying, to seeing what happened, and just journal and do all of these things. And you could paper trade, you could do that, or again, fund an account with the minimum, and then just practice, getting the feel of that. Again, this is for someone who's pretty new to trading. Um, but again, I would pretty much save up for that funded evaluation and then get it. Like, I wouldn't recommend anyone to trade. Again, like, we're not financial advisors. We can't tell you what to do with your money or anything like that. I'm just sharing what I would do is I would save a certain amount of money to where I can comfortably buy an evaluation without stressing, like, damn, this is my last. No, I would make sure, like, my bills, everything is taken care of, and then saved up a certain amount to where I could buy that evaluation. And then you go at it like that. Maybe you don't pass it, maybe you pass it, but yeah. So I would go through the evaluation route. Don't put all your eggs in the trading account and try to leave your job by risking it all. Does it works, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I think that that portion of the risk disclaimer comes from, right? Like, don't trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Like, that fits right in there. I put out a video the other day. I clipped it from one of our previous live sessions, and it's like a 10-minute video, and I basically talked about premeditatio malorum and diversification, and that's where I drew that circle. And I basically just outlined, I don't want to put more than 15% or 20% of my net worth into one specific thing. So if I have $5,000 in my name, if I have like 5,000 in cash, what am I going to do with it? I'd probably do like 1,000 into a Forex account, 1,000 or 1,500 in like a stocks account, and maybe 1,000 for cash for emergencies and stuff like that, to like kind of round things out a little bit. I wouldn't want to put all 5,000 into a Forex account and then just, try and do something like that. My psychology would not allow me to do that. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
No.
Wouldn't be able to sleep if I'm in an open position. There's no fucking way. My stop could be at break even. I could be 20 pips in the direction. I still wouldn't be able to sleep. You know what I mean? Because it would just be that bad. But my answer to that question is pretty much in alignment with what you said. If that's your income, then that's what you got to work with. what I did. So again, this isn't a recommendation, but what I did when I was in the military, I had a guaranteed paycheck. It wasn't a lot, but it was guaranteed. So I would throw, 10, 15, 20% or more to the side every time I got paid. Every time I got paid. Over the course of a few years, that's going to build up to some decent bread, and if you just stay doing that over a long period of time, plus be able to trade potentially, I don't know, then you build up a little nest egg for yourself. So that's just what I did personally. But and I think that kind of answers the question. The Cosmic Junkie, interesting name, had asked, do you think you should start with a trading firm or opening an account with capital saved? And I think he kind of answered that. If you decide to trade with a trading firm, which neither one of us are recommending, that's totally up to you. But if you can get access to something like that, I think it could potentially be beneficial to leverage OPM.
Yeah.
But again, not a recommendation. It's up to you. Okay. But that was pretty much all the questions that we had up to that point. So we've been on here for just about an hour. I don't really have anything else. Zay actually just asked, started to be consistent, but need to work on holding trades longer. So how do you hold trades longer?
For me, I have predetermined targets. Like before I enter a trade, just gotta hold to your target. It's kind of funny, like that. The answer is pretty much in the question. It's like something you develop over time. Like there's just so many times where, oh, I'm up this much, and like it's funny how most traders, and again, like we've all been there, where it's like you will close your winners early, but then hold on to your losses.
Yikes.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, so you gotta kind of give yourself a reality check of like, I'm kind of shooting yourself in the foot, doing stuff like that. So really, like, before, again, it goes back to your approach, the analysis stage, planning the trade and executing it. The way you manage it should be based off of your analysis and planning the trade. Like if you have a certain outlook before you execute, you need to commit to that. It's kind of like imagine you're getting on a freeway, like you're turning on onto a freeway, and you're like, you know what, never mind. It's like, dude, you're gonna get wrecked. Like you cannot just turn back around. Like you got to go into the direction that you decided you're gonna go in. So the reason why most people get out of trades early is because, again, they're either over leveraging or they're over trading. So I would say for me, what helped me be able to hold trades longer was lowering my risk. For me, being able to lower my risk, just it made me more comfortable with holding trades. And then over time, you get back to that. So for me, that's something I did, was I just started to lower my risk, and I just let go. You just got to let go. And I always say, there's only one way to find out. So, fuck around and you find out.
There you go. The fuck around and find out scale, brought to you by whatever that guy's name was. I don't even know.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but that's a pretty legendary skill.
Absolutely.
I got a whiteboard right here. I could draw it if we need to. So,
dude, everybody at this point, everybody should know what the fuck around and find out scale is. The more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out. So it's Anthony said, throw your phone, stop looking at it, trust your analysis, go enjoy your day.
Go ride a horse.
Well, I don't know about the horse part, but everything else.
He said go ride a horse.
Where, Anthony, are you still over in the Triad area or on the East Coast? I don't even think I've seen a horse on the East Coast. I'm in Texas. I'm probably closer to a horse than...
I did see on his story earlier, he was riding a horse.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Anthony riding the horse. That's crazy. But anyway, Carlos said Matthew has a portal behind him. Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to jump through it after this call.
Portable to the unknown or the abyss. Shit, man, my headset's gonna die here pretty soon. I'm getting the beep, the low battery beep, and I don't have anything next to me to charge it with. So real quick, I will give you the floor here in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. Anything that you want to talk about, you can feel free. If you want to give people any more gems or any quotes or anything that helped you out in your trading. I know you answered that question earlier, but we've got over 50 people on the call, so anything that you want to let them know, you can feel free to do so. That's going to be all from me today, but I will let you have the floor the last few minutes here, brother. So go ahead.
No, yeah. First of all, I really just want to thank you again for your time, bro. Allowing us to share this time and space together. It's been really awesome. And yeah, it's a blessing being able to be here. Super grateful for everything that's happening. I highly recommend everybody. This is something I do recommend, okay? Because again, in terms of trading and stuff, um, you know, you can't recommend anything right there, right?
True.
But I will say this. Write a list down of things that you're grateful for in your life, right? Like, what certain people in your life, things in your life, experiences, right? Just roof over your head, clothes, food, family, like whatever it is, like just write a list of 20 things, and you'll probably keep going beyond those 20 things, right? And really just remind yourself like why you're doing the things that you're doing, right? Like you really have to see, evaluate the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis and ask yourself, is this serving me or is it not? Right. And trading isn't just, in the markets. Trading is, you're able to trade the thoughts that you have, the feelings you have, the habits that you have, the relationships that you have, the results that you have, the things that you do, the way you do them. You could trade anything in your entire life, right? For things that are going to serve you better and get you closer towards the things that are in alignment with your beliefs and the things that you truly believe in. So I believe a gratitude list is very powerful. Just to have it next to you, or just to look at it before you start your day, or maybe it's something you write down every day. But again, there's so many things to be grateful for. I truly believe that complaining is like, anybody can complain, but again, it's what you focus on grows. So you really feed into the things, you're amplifying them with your focus, right? So if you want to feel better, feel better energy, more love, abundance in your life, focus on the things that you have in your life and the things that you're focused on growing rather than the things that you don't have, right? Because then you'll constantly just feel like you're lacking something when in reality you have everything that you need, right? So um yeah, just what you focus on grows. I feel like that's one of the things I want to leave you guys with. I want to remind you, because I'm sure everyone knows that, but just remember, what you focus on grows. You focus on yourself, you will continue to grow. You just continue to become better and better. And yeah, you what you do, it does influence people around you. You focusing on yourself and becoming better, it does influence them. So if you want the environment around you to change, you want the people around you to change, or whatever it is, the results, the things that you're seeing, when you focus on changing yourself, like it's very powerful. You'll see how everything else starts to change. So I just want to remind you guys, that you can literally be, do, and have whatever it is that you want, right? Literally, whatever it is you want. You could literally be, do, and have whatever it is that you want. Remember, you don't need to have something in order to do something so that you can finally be something. All you got to do is be that person who does the things that person does, and you will continue to experience everything that person has, right? So it's always, thank you again, John. Again, everybody, sending y'all waves of peace, love, abundance, and creativity. Y'all clap easy, trade responsibly, and yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, brother. Thanks everyone for being here. If you got some value out of today's call so far, go ahead and like the video. That would be greatly appreciated. It gets us on the algorithm, gets us in front of more people, so more people can get more value. You know what I mean? So just watching the S&P here in the last hour. I haven't done anything with this. We were on the call today, and I wanted that to be our focus. So y'all be blessed. I will see you guys next time.